Ciao ragazzi, LordTeox here, and on today's video we're gonna talk about HU TAO. Finally, the new polearm user is here. We're also gonna talk about weapon, which weapon she prefers from a 4-star weapon to an endgame 5-star. Artifact and what you should prioritize on her, team composition and the best elemental reaction she can trigger, talents, animation and playstyle. So guys, let's just start talking about weapon. The best option and the first one we're gonna talk about is the Staff of Homa. 5-star weapon with an amazing passive talent which is perfect for HU TAO. Staff of Homa will increase HU TAO damage a lot due to the HP scaling, and at this damage we will also need to add the perfect synergy between the HU TAO low HP second talent and the passive talent from the weapon. So guys, if you have it on your account and you also have HU TAO, this is definitely the perfect combination. Next 5-star option guys is the Primordial Jade Spear. So that spear will increase HU TAO attack by 3.2% for 6 seconds every hit, so you can stack this maximum 7 times. When finally HU TAO get the maximum amount of stacks, she will have an additional 12% attack bonus. This attack guys will also affect the HU TAO elemental skill and burst, which is amazing. So if you don't have the Staff of Homa, this is a very good weapon and is the second best 5-star option. Talking about the 4-star weapon guys, the best is the Deathmatch. So it's a solid and very good 4-star choice for HU TAO. You can obtain this by the Battle Pass. The passive talent increase attack and defense by 16% when there are 2 enemies nearby, which is pretty much always, and if you're going against one single big boss, the attack is increased by 24%. So since HU TAO scales with critical damage and at a level 80 you will already have a very good amount, around 80%, having a nice substats as a critical rate on HU TAO is definitely one of the best choices you can make. That will help you achieve the perfect ratio 1 to 2, like very easily, so that's what you want. Next weapon guys, the Crescent Pike. So even if this one is one of my favorite weapons in the game and the physical damage bonus you have is amazing, that doesn't really work that well on HU TAO. So you will use a lot the elemental skill and burst, which will completely cancel the physical damage for Pyrodam. Also the 6 attacks HU TAO have in her combo doesn't make this weapon, I would say, good enough for her and not easy to achieve the passive talent of the Crescent Pike for fully utilize this weapon. So Zhongli and Xianglin for me are still the best option for the Crescent Pike. Next and last weapon I want to talk about guys is the Blackcliff Pole. So regarding this weapon, the explanation is quite simple, so if you don't have any other choices that we already discussed about, this is a very good and solid weapon, especially from a free-to-play or a low-budget point of view. Nice passive talent and a good increase of your attack, so this is great. But the fact that you have a critical damage as a substats and HU TAO already scale with critical damage, that will make your life very hard to find the perfect ratio 1 to 2 that we really want. So I definitely, again, if you have any other 4-star weapon or 5-star option, go for this one. I don't definitely recommend you to go for the Blackcliff Pole. Regarding artifact guys, the stats you want to look for HU TAO are HP percentage and attack percentage. So HP percentage on the sands will give you more damage than an attack, especially with a good weapon. But since most of us maybe already have a good attack percentage sense, guys, don't worry because you're still going to deal a lot of damage. Regarding the suit stats, what you need to prioritize are HP, of course, flat HP and HP percentage are both great, and attack percentage at the end. So remember guys, normally we have a ratio 1 to 2 for the stats, and we can talk about something similar for HU TAO. So the things you need to remember that the highest is the attack of your weapon, and the more HU TAO HP needs. This is kind of like a perfect ratio for dealing the maximum amount of damage. Gladiator Finale or Finale 4 pieces is one of the most used set for main DPS in the game, but due to how HU TAO is working and a very low base HP, I don't definitely recommend this build. So if you really have a good gladiator pieces guys and you want to use it, 2 pieces of Crimson Witch of Flames for pyro damage and 2 gladiator finale with the pyro goblet is the best choice you can have for your HU TAO. Regardless, what HU TAO definitely prefer is pyro damage bonus. So Crimson Witch of Flames is definitely a better option than a gladiator. The reason why I'm saying that is because even if you're not able to fully take advantage of the max stats of the 4 pieces using the Crimson set, the pyro damage and the damage you will deal when you trigger, for example, melt or vaporize is huge, and that's actually what we're looking for. Another good set we can talk about is the Lava Walker 4 pieces. So guys, especially if you're already thinking about a team composition and you want to use 2 pyro character and also 2 geo character with Arcade Petra, you will achieve just from this team composition and this artifact a 70% bonus on your pyro damage. So those are the 5 best options. If you have HU TAO guys and you don't have a very good 5-star artifact, the best 4-star build I actually recommend you guys is the 4 pieces Berserker. So in this case you will get a huge boost of critical rate, 12% at the beginning, plus 24% when HP of HU TAO is below 70%, which is kind of work very well for her. We can talk about the team composition depending on your build guys. So even if it's like Ciao, HU TAO really likes to stay on the field a lot and is not one of the best sharing character DPS we have in Genshin Impact, having a good team working for her is what you can do best. So if you're focusing HU TAO in a big pyro damage, of course the best choice you can do is put at least 1 pyro character on the team. So thanks to the artifact and the pyro resonance, HU TAO will deal an insane amount of pyro damage. Bennett or Changlin are the best option. So Changlin with the pyro tornado can apply pyro super easy and be one of the best burst damage for HU TAO. Bennett can be, a little bit controversial due to the fact that at the same time can heal HU TAO but also burst the damage, but if you can cast the ultimate of HU TAO before you are above the 50% HP, the damage you will do is insane. So if you want to play in this way, this is definitely a team composition that I recommend you. But if you want to play a little bit more with the elemental reaction, with HU TAO guys, you can really have a lot of fun. So you have Diona, Ganyu or Chongyun for amazing melt combo, Chinchu or Mona for some nice vaporize combo, Fischl, cost instant electro damage, which means a lot of overload, or maybe you can go for Venti, Sucrose or Jean for some nice anemo damage and swirl. So guys, really depending of what you want to achieve, and you can basically put HU TAO on every of your elemental team without any problem. Remember guys also that HU TAO, she can heal herself with the ultimate. So if you're thinking about the team composition, if you are good enough and you have a nice rotation and also maybe a good shield character like Zhongli, you can focus your team basically on just dealing a lot of damage. So you deal damage and that's it. You don't even need to heal HU TAO because she can do it by herself. So after testing a little bit this team composition with the character I have on my account, I ended up having a few favorite teams, which is with Chinchu, HU TAO, Changlin and Zhongli, and sometimes instead of Chinchu I like to put Ganyu for a full damage team with a nice rotation. And this is like a personal choice, guys, but again, HU TAO, it's a very like character where you can put pretty much everywhere. Last things I would like to add about the team composition are the geo character. So since we know of course that stay always below the 50% HP with HU TAO can be a little bit scary and also dangerous, adding character like Zhongli or Albedo on your team for shielding or continuous crystallize reaction can be good depending on the situation. Also, this can give you more survival ability, and in this case you can continue the fight, and also adding some bonuses on HU TAO. Regarding the talents, guys, since HU TAO will be definitely used as a main DPS from all of us, and due to, I would say, the world level pretty much everyone has at the moment, I will feel safe to say that you need at least talents level 6 on all the 3. So I would say if you start too slowly, you don't have like the right material right away, you can start with elemental skill first, normal attack, and at the end the ultimate. So due to HU TAO playstyle, having a highest elemental skill will increase your damage exponentially and also require less HP to activate the elemental skill. Normal attack after will increase your white damage of course, but also the charge attacks, which we know is very important for HU TAO. And the last one, guys, is the burst spell. So level 6, it's a very good, especially depending on your playstyle. So also, guys, you need to remind that level 6 can be already enough, because yes, if you bring it at level 7 or 8 will give you more damage, but at the same time will also heal your HU TAO more. So you need to be careful to find the right balance between those two things. Talking about playstyle and animation with HU TAO, guys, it's really interesting because the way that HU TAO is built, it's really amazing. That will bring us, I would say, experiment different things, different playstyle, and HU TAO, I would say, it's a very high risk character if you really want to achieve the maximum amount of damage. So let's just take an idea that if you start the fight with the full HP, like for example Spiral builds with also the ultimate, you need to remember that every time you cast the heal spell of HU TAO, that will decrease your HP by 30%, which means that every time you will deal more damage. Of course, if you're not in the abyss, that will also give you orbs and recharge the ultimate. But in this case, as soon as you have the ultimate ready and you are below the 50% HP, you need to cast the ultimate that will deal a lot of damage and at the same time will heal HU TAO. That's depending really of the level of like your burst. That's why I said that to be careful to not be, I would say, the highest level possible, because that will heal a lot HU TAO and at the same time depend of how many enemies you hit. So this is, I would say, is the safest way to play with HU TAO. It can be the classic way, that can be the way that everybody will do if you don't want to take a very high risk. But if you start the fight, I would say already with a very low HP, and so that would take the animation and the playstyle of HU TAO in a different way. The idea is to, I would say, try to always stay below the 50%, and the character like Zhongli or Nohel, or like we said before, Albedo with Crystallize can definitely help HU TAO to survive. So if you start the fight with a very low HP, you will deal a very good amount of damage. Of course, this is a little bit more risky, but is a very high reward. So for me, it's a very interesting play style. You can try to find your best way for you, depending on the team composition, the character, and the way you use HU TAO. Last things about animation, guys, is the charge attack. So I know we're not super used to this, but I would say we should normally take advantage of this charge attack for utilize more the Blossom during the pyramid states, which is the elemental skill. In this way, we can deal definitely more damage. So we start adapting ourselves for another playstyle like Ciao, always jumping like kangaroo, and here try to charge attack more with the HU TAO, will definitely bring you something more. Last things is talking about Constellation. So I will quickly go over Constellation, guys, because personally I will not spend that much of money which is used for having HU TAO Constellation 6, and in general for every 5-star in the game you don't need those like Constellation 6 for be that amazing. So I would rather focus on nice gear, weapon, artifact and everything instead of just spending too much money for having a Constellation 6. But since we are talking about that, looking at Constellation 1, if you can achieve that will be an amazing burst for your playstyle, since the damage that the charge attack so will give you more damage, and the charge attack will not consume any stamina anymore, which means you can charge attack more, which means you can deal more pyro damage and so on. Constellation 4 is the other constellation we can talk about, so show maybe how HU TAO it's a little bit less selfish maybe than Ciao, or than other character than we maybe expect, since that will help the party member accept HU TAO with a nice critical rate increase of 12% every time she kills an enemy. Of course, guys, we can talk about Constellation 6 at the end, but if you can achieve that, your HU TAO will be pretty much unstoppable. I will say you have one of the best already character in the game on your hands, and just enjoy it. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you find this video helpful. Like the video if you like it, and don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more content like this one, or if you simply want to show your support. I'll see you next time. Ciao, ciao.